Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is TheTranspondster here, and today we are rebuilding the Pancakes house. I would say renovating, but I very much bulldozed the whole thing. If renovating the original Townies homes is something that you do wish to see, maybe leave that in the comments down below, and that's something I can look into doing in the future. But for now, we are just sticking with rebuilding everything because I like to put my own spin on things, and I think I'm just so tired of loading into the same base save every time I want to start a new gameplay that this is just my preferred route right now. So we are giving them a nice cute little yellow house. It is going to be a single story one, and it is in the same lot that they currently live in, so nothing changes there. They're still in kind of the middle class neighborhood, and I do think I end up getting an extra bedroom in here. I believe the original house only had 2 bedrooms, but this one I got 3 bedrooms, and I made sure to give them a nice kitchen because Bob does have that culinary aspiration to him. And then I do leave an easel in here for Eliza because the first build has an easel. Even though we don't really have that much backstory to The Sims in The Sims 4, I think it's safe to assume that Eliza is a little bit more on the creative side. They do have laundry in this house. I'm kind of setting it up to where if you're living in a home in a neighborhood that typically would afford a laundry and washing machine, I am going to try and put it in there. But then if it's a starter home or a lower income neighborhood, I might not, and then that's where a laundromat would come into play, which I did build. I believe it is my last video on the channel, so you can go watch that. It is a speed build as well, and it is a fairly short one, so if you've got the time to spare, why not? I am the kind of person that will leave a Sims video playing in the background while I play The Sims. I like background noise. If it's not YouTube and Sims videos, it is usually some trashy reality TV that I don't have to pay full attention to, and it is just there in the background. Sometimes I listen to podcasts too. I like true crime. So I do get 2 bathrooms in here, and one is an ensuite, so it is off of the main bedroom, and it is alluded to in the original build that Bob and Eliza do sleep in separate bedrooms. I kind of follow through with that in my build as well, and naturally Eliza does get the master bedroom with the ensuite bathroom, and then Bob, I kind of put a robe hanging in the bathroom that's accessible to the rest of the house to give the illusion that that's Bob's robe and he has been evicted to the other half of the house to sleep because him and Eliza are having their ongoing marital problems. But if you did watch my first video on my channel, you will know that I did create a sim in Willow Creek for Eliza to get into a little fling with. He is an engaged man, but Eliza is also a married woman, so you know, they're both a little bit in the wrong there, and we'll just see how it plays out. If you want to play as Eliza Pancakes when I do finish my save file, you can take it from there and let me know where you lead them, if her and Bob figure things out or if she gives up and moves on, because options are there. I also tweak skills of the Sims that I'm putting in, and I am adjusting their relationships to be more where they should be. So Bob and Eliza do not start off as a happy married couple. They start off with some negative moodlets towards each other to go along with the storyline that The Sims 4 is trying to portray. I'm just adding some decorations in before we go and move on to the kitchen, where we'll be getting a lot of blues and yellows in with the country kitchen kit. I think that is the theme in this house. Even the beige has some yellow undertone to it. So maybe yellow is Eliza's new favorite color. The dining room I keep pretty simple. I don't add in a painting in my actual speed build of it, but during the end when I was taking my screenshots, I realized that the one wall in the dining room looked very blank, and I did go and get something to hang on that wall so that it filled it out a little bit better and the room wasn't so empty feeling. I was trying to fiddle around with the cabinets because I didn't want the open shelf that comes as a full piece. It's like the default swatch for it. And then I remembered that the country kitchen kit comes with the just plain wall shelf, and I kind of made a faux cabinetry up there with it. I don't remember to put curtains on this entire build, so Bob is just lazy with his room and he gets woken up by the sun every morning. So if you are kind enough to Bob, you can go and give him some curtains. And I think that is all the mistakes that I do make in this build. Everything else is done. You've got your garbage cans and all your beds and toilets and sinks, which is more than we can say for EA, because we know that they are notorious for getting very important things in their builds like toilets and doors. Realm of Magic is an utter mess in Glimmerbrook. For someone who's not typically an occult player either, it's really disappointing that they couldn't get the world aspect right, because that is something that I would use, but Glimmerbrook is so small and it's not what it should be for the pack that it is. I was expecting more, especially after The Sims 3 Supernatural and everything that was included in that. It's such a huge letdown that The Sims 4 does that to us. They are doing us so dirty by making us pay for so many more expansions that they could just be lumping into one. I do make sure to give Bob and Eliza a backyard. I wanted Eliza to get into the gardening skill, so I do have her start some herbs out there. I think that's something that any new gardener typically leans towards when they're venturing into edible plants, is herbs before full-on veggies. At least that's what I did, and I can barely keep the herbs alive, but I do try every year. One year I will not fail. I think if I had an in-ground garden, I would be better off sticking with it and following through. But because I do container gardening, it's not as good for the plants as it would be if they were in the ground. So I tell myself that that's the reason and that it's not entirely my fault, and maybe one day I will be a good gardener. Then I am just decorating their front porch and adding some more skill building, because these Sims do have some skills on the go, so I wanted to make sure that they had the items to continue building those skills if you were to drop in and do gameplay here. We're just working on some landscaping now on the outside and getting the curb appeal going. I wish that there was an easy way to line curved pathways with fences, but unfortunately there is not. So it is a tedious way to do it, but here I am placing all these little rocks down. I'm sizing them all down and making sure that they're not in the same order and it looks natural. But I do actually, this is more sped up than the rest of the video, and it still takes a good amount of time to watch me do that. But we are done placing all those little rocks, and we can move on, making the outside of this house look a little more finished. I do keep it pretty simple with the garden because, like I said, Eliza is just starting to learn how to garden, so there's nothing too extreme going on the outside. If anything, it was probably all planted already when they bought the home, but maybe as she gets more into gardening, she'll add more to it. I put that garbage can there, but I do think that I noticed I have one in the backyard, and I do delete it by the end of the video, so it's not there. And I do remember trying to fiddle around a little bit with the placement of it so it didn't look just randomly placed there in the front lawn. That feels like it could just be a me problem. Anyways, that is the end of the build. Thank you for hanging around this long. Enjoy some screenshots, and I will see you next time. Bye.